Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, friends. Depends at what time and in which part of the world you're hearing this and seeing us. It's a pleasure to have you here and listen to us today. Uh, the world has changed. It is changing. How much is going to further change? We don't know. In fact, when this COVID pandemic started, all of us thought that is just a few months. The few months became a year, and now we thought it's going to get over. Now this seems to be going further. So with the second wave or the third wave, so we really don't know what's going to basically happening. Very difficult to look into the crystal ball and predict anything, but we have to still look after the industry and see where it's going to go. So that's why today we have what we're going to discuss is the role or the evolving role of the travel professionals, because being a service industry, most of our work is involved with people, and they are the ones who really do all the work. And today, at a time of this pandemic, they are threatened of their own livelihoods. If I can safely say, a lot of travel agents, airline, hotels, people, lots of them have lost their jobs. They don't have that. Some of them have taken some big or hefty pay cuts, but they're still hanging on there in the hope that something or the other is going to happen. But I think it's the responsibility of the industry. Sometimes we must find ways to revive ourselves and to stay relevant. That's the key part which the industry needs to do for ourselves. There is a debate going on at the moment globally, finding or evolving a balance between the human touch and technology. Why I'm mentioning this is because a lot of people have shifted to technology. They thought that's going to be the easy way out. But travel is a service industry. But now the industry has to adopt to its protocols, to the new protocols of safe distancing. And then where does this leave the professionals? Because if you're just going to go totally to the technology aspect of it, where do our professionals go? That's my biggest thing, which is actually worrying everybody and to understand what to do. What will be the new role of travel professionals in this COVID world, present and post travel, is something which which we're going to discuss today and find out with our experts. That's what we really will talk. So let me introduce to you my two experts. The first, the lady over there you're seeing is Beverly Oyong. She's the area director of the Middle East, area director of Singapore Tourism Board Middle East, and is based out of Dubai, UAE. She incidentally has over a decade of working with the Singapore Tourism Board. She has also served as the area director for Russia, Eastern Europe, and Central Asia. Beverly is an accomplished marketer and a stalwart in the leisure, travel, and tourism industry. In her current role, she is responsible for strategizing regional marketing campaigns, developing travel trade and non-travel trade partners in this region of the Middle East. Welcome, Beverly. It's a pleasure to have you here. We will let you speak in a little bit. My second panelist, or the second person we're going to hear speak, is going to be Shahrin Mukhtar. He's the director for Malaysia Tourism based in Dubai. He has 25 years of valuable experience in this position. Mukhtar is a highly skilled in tourism industry research, bidding, event organizing, marketing, and promotions. He previously worked as the director of Malaysia Tourism Sydney and a senior deputy director for the research and planning division of Tourism Malaysia. Shahrin was also previously affiliated with Statistics and Tourism Satellite Accounting Program division of the UNWTO, or United Nations Tourism Organization. Welcome, Shahrin. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today. Now, what I'm going to request is I would like both of them to give their opening remarks and their opening comment, and then we will take on the question answers for them. So if I may say, Shahrin, let the lady go first. Over to you, Beverly. You take the first word. Over to you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure being here and being able to share and discuss some of these issues that have plagued all of us. This pandemic has disrupted the way we've done work. The new demands, new innovation has emerged from this, and I think this is a timely session for us to be talking about some of these things that we need to be resilient about and be prepared for when our borders start opening for everyone. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you very much. Now I move on to Shadrin. Your opening comments, please.
Hi, Elif. Very good morning or afternoon in other part of the world. We really say, now is a very tough time for all of us, and then a lot of our friends in the travel industries have to move on, and sometimes they have to work as they have to change their job to survive, and basically we have to be like very agile, and we have to be have to adopt to any technology that has been introduced. If not, we will not survive. So I think that's my opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Sharon. I'll now go on to my some questions, but my basic, what I'm going to do is, friends, we are going to go straight to some of the hard questions. We have the two tourism board people, so we're going to request them for some coming straight to the point. That's what we're basically going to do. So I'm going to start with Beverly. Beverly, you acknowledge and we all understand what's happening with the travel professional in the world over. They're losing their jobs or they're working with half salaries, some of them even less, and they're doing not one. In fact, some of them are doing two or three jobs together, especially in the hotel industry. That's what's basically happening. Now, what I really want to ask you is the travel professional, what do you see is going to be his new role today as we look at it? And my question to you would be also with it is, technology has suddenly become taken a very important role. So where does technology fit into all this?
Well, as we've mentioned earlier, with the current pandemic, new demands, considerations have emerged. Industry is also disrupted by new trends, new innovation. But I think inherently the tourism industry has always been resilient, has always been flexible. And this is the time when all of these needs to come through even more. I think tourism professionals really need to show that resilience, that flexibility, the adaptability, and to be creative, especially in this climate. And we need to keep pace with all these emerging trends and technology to stay competitive. Yes, there are technology coming in place even more so, but it doesn't negate the fact that people is still needed. I think even with technology, even when we launch certain things like having to do the Trace Together app, for example, or to make sure that people adhere to some of these protocols that different countries have put in place, I think the travel professionals have an even larger role to play to make sure that we maintain a safe and a confident environment for tourism or tourists to come and visit.
Do you think that technology will play a part with them? So that means they need to upskill their learning on all that, or do you think they're sitting where they're good where they're sitting at the moment?
No, I think they will need to be educated on it. They will need to be the ones that know how to use this technology in order to make sure that the tourists that comes to our different countries will be also adhering to some of these. They would actually be that frontliner to know. So yes, in that sense, they do need to keep up with the trend. They need to keep up with the technology changes or the implementation that various countries have put in place to make sure that the confidence of the travelers maintain. So yes, they are going to be that frontliner to be helping everyone else basically.
Okay. So you're promoting different kind of jobs they're going to be doing, not one. They need to do multiple skilling, as I would say.
I suppose it's going to be a lot of upskilling. It's going to be an expansion of the role. It's going to be new knowledge that they all need to have during this time for sure. To do the same thing, it's not going to happen. So they do need to keep up with it. They do need to reinvent themselves or re-educate themselves in that sense and make sure that they go up on par to maintain that.
Okay. Sharon, I'm going to come to you, and stay on the technology portion part of it. Was basically what you just heard about it. The dependence upon technology has changed a lot. In fact, that's changed our day-to-day life. That today we are doing this on technology, which we would have never thought about a few years ago.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that suddenly everything has become technology-driven. We go to hotels, you can use your phone to check in, check out. You can actually use it to open your doors and stuff like that. So this pandemic has taught all of us, or is still teaching them how to use technology a lot more. Now, my point is, I can understand that technology portion as far as travel agencies are concerned, or hotels are concerned, or the airline part of it is concerned. How are tourism destinations looking or preparing for this change? What are they doing new in terms of, so that they are on top of the technology? Right, that's what they will say.
Okay, basically what we do is that, because, we know that the tour operators have to enhance their knowledge, because now their role is becoming bigger, because they are going to be more, the customer will need them more, because they need to be, to keep update with the new things that, the changes as the SOPs of each country and all the procedures. So they are the focal point for people to refer. And basically what we do is that we do the training online now. So we have moved to the training online, and then basically, we have used the e-brochures in the QR code. So basically, we are, and then, we have just launched our interactive brochures. So this is the thing that we are moving into it. So even though like ATM, so we are not allowed to use the physical brochure. So basically, everything we have to change to QR code. So this is the thing that we have to move along. So this is our role now.
But tell me, I just want to ask you a little question on this. As a tourism board, I understand that you need to be on top of this technology bubble, and make sure that everybody understands that. And they now, what are you doing also for the travel agent, or your travel agent community in Malaysia, for example?
Yeah.
How are they are up to it and all that, or how are you working with them?
Yeah, because that's the thing that I'm saying, that the scaling part, because we are training, because we in Malaysia we have programs to upgrade our tour operators and hoteliers in terms of the current technology, and then they also most of them now are migrating to the e-platform. Before this, some of them still reluctant to go to the e-platform, but now everyone have moved to that. So and then we as a tourism board have given them incentive for them to move into these new technologies. So we have done training through the stations like Malaysian Association of Hotels, MATA, and all that. So it's a synergy between government and the private sectors.
So the government, in your case, is taking the lead and teaching the private sector to go ahead and
It's it's a joint hand in hand, because we cannot work on our own. The government cannot push the private sector, so it must be a synergy, both of us working together.
Okay, let's move ahead. Beverly, I'm going to come to you. The so-called everybody talks about is the new normal. Things are changing. A lot of different things have to be done. But now my question to you is, what are the new or the main protocols that you have adhered to in your destination? Is there something which a traveler, which was not doing earlier, has to do now? So what are the things which you are doing at the moment? It could be as far as from the airport even to the hotel or sightseeing. If you can throw some light on that.
Well, this COVID-19 pandemic was the biggest challenge that we have faced in the country in our history, 56 years. We have managed the pandemic pretty well, and I'm quite happy to share that we are ranked the top safest country just yesterday by Bloomberg, right? With that, I think it came about because we were looking at things like cleanliness, the hygiene. We were looking at safe events, as well as some travel schemes and entry facilitation. So these are some of the things that really came out different from the pandemic. If I could just expand that a little bit in terms of cleanliness and hygiene, there was always there in our attractions in our hotel. But right now, because of the pandemic, we actually started this rigorous standard of safe management and hygiene. We call it safe management measures, SMM, such as capacity limits, ensuring safe distancing and good hygiene practice. These are actually strictly audited in our various industries, right? In terms of trying to instill confidence, we also have the national campaign, which we call SG Clean. This is setting an even higher standard of environmental public hygiene and to build confidence again for our businesses. This is a national quality mark that is awarded to businesses that meet these minimum standards. And in this itself, we have introduced innovation, we have introduced technology that is going to play or that is playing an important role in future proofing and readying our industry post pandemic. So when we talk about events, we have and we want to build our position as a safe and trusted hub to pioneer leading standards in health, safety, and services. To do so, we established the business events framework, which is different from pre-pandemic time. This one has also strict safe management and health protocols to provide assurance to attendees and to the public. Larger business to business events, we're starting to reintroduce them or to come into us since April this year. There is an increase in the current limit of 250. Now it's about 750. And on top of that, because of the borders restrictions in almost every country in the world, we did also launch the Connect at Singapore program in December 2020. And this is targeted at business travelers on short-term stay. This one will help us to, in our efforts to reopen our borders in a controlled and safe manner, again, with necessary public health safeguards in place. So these are some of the things
I
that.
get what you're saying, but Beverly, it really struck me is when you say that you do this auditing of organizations and make sure that. How often do you do that, and what happens if somebody is not complying with it?
Actually, there are safety management officers that are in place in all the establishments within their own businesses. So they are the ones that has to go through all this audit, and then we do our spot checks as well.
And do you involve some of the travel trade people?
Most definitely we do, because this has to be an industry wide, and it's not just a government effort, but it has to be worked hand in hand, as Sharin has mentioned, together with the industry. So all of us play a part in this whole thing.
Okay, fair enough. Sharon, I'm going to come to you now. I think this is a important point where you're working hand in hand, and like Singapore saying, they're involving the travel industry now to really look into the auditing part of it and helping them with the whole thing. My question to you would be, what is anything specifically you're doing for the livelihood of the travel industry? Because what's happening is that a lot of travel agents have closed shop and gone away. In fact, and a lot of the hotels have sent out their people and they're not giving them any money. What is the initiatives to support them? Are you doing anything to build confidence in them, or telling them that, guys, hold on, things will change?
Okay, basically our government have come up with several stimulus packages, such as Pemerkasa and Gamelan, that is what we call. And then basically, of course, the first initiative is to promote domestic tourism to selected state. And then the other thing is that like those people that want to travel, they have to purchase the tourism packages from tour agents. And through this, they are eligible to income tax relief of up to 1,000 ringgit. So basically, we are pushing them to buy packages through travel agent to support the travel agent, so that these people can get the tax incentive. Yeah. And then the other thing is that we also have to create demand from the consumer itself through subsidized fare, like through our airlines for domestic traveling. And then if they go to the hotel, they get, they can claim some rebate backs to the zoo for the tickets, and then for the intercity transportation such as train, LRT, and then shopping outlets. So basically, we are trying to move people to, to purchase things, to travel by subsidize it. So this is the initiative that we have done, and then still continuing. And the other thing is that uh, we also give, like, because we are targeting also the travel agents, because we know that they suffer a lot. So the government have give like one-off special assistance this year, 3,000 ringgit for 5,000 travel agents. So this is like, to help them. And the other thing is that we also subsidize the salary of the, not just travel agent staff, but for hoteliers, theme parks, and all that. This is the initiative by some of the initiative by our government to assist the tour operators, hoteliers, theme parks, and the retailers.
Well, that's quite an impressive list. You seem to have done a lot for the travel industry in terms of salary subsidizing and paying them 3,000 ringgit to 5,000 travel agents. Fantastic. That's really good and creating the demand. But here I wanted to ask you one thing. Of course, you have the big advantage of promoting domestic tourism and all that. You mentioned that you helped in creating the demand. How did you do that? How did you achieve that situation?
Okay, basically what we do is that, because we have a fund, but we want it goes directly to the consumer. So basically, like when the consumer purchase a airline ticket, they will get a discount from the airline. So is and then if they go and purchase certain things in the shopping center they will get certain discount. So this is the thing how we try to generate the economy. So even to the zoo. Yeah, so this is the thing that we try to generate the economy.
Oh, wonderful. I really kudos to you guys doing that. Now I'm going to come back to Beverly. Beverly, of course, I think Singapore can't do domestic tourism to that extent what Malaysia can do kind of situation. But here I wanted to ask you was when the pandemic actually hit the small tour operators, which took the beating. They were the worst hit. They're the ones who really went off. Now, as a tourism board yourself, what were the initiatives you took to support the travel agent or the travel industry in Singapore?
So the Singapore government acknowledged that our tourism industry has been greatly impacted by COVID-19 and is facing immense challenge to survive. With that, we committed more than 100 billion, which is about US 73 billion across 5 budget economy-wide to protect jobs and help local businesses stay viable. We as a tourism board also released sector-specific support measures, such as the waiver of licensing fees for travel agents, hotels, and tourist guides. And we also enhanced grant support under our Tourism Development Fund. These measures aim to support local tourism businesses by helping them fund training programs or help them transform their business models and processes to adapt to the challenging circumstances. So specifically also in July, not too long ago, we also launched the Singapore Rediscover Domestic campaign. This is to encourage Singaporeans to support our tourism businesses. It is hoped that this campaign will stimulate demand through attractive promotions offered by businesses, communities, e-commerce platform, and online travel agents. And even more recently, we announced that 320 million Singapore dollars, or about USD 232 million, will be set aside in the form of Singapore Rediscover vouchers to encourage Singaporeans to support local businesses by going on tours, booking staycations, and visiting our tourist attractions. This one is given to every Singaporean above the age of 18 in 2020, and all of them will receive $100 worth of digital voucher, which they can then redeem from December to June this year.
Oh, you mentioned something like you give them tours, that they could redeem this for tours. What kind of tours are we talking over here?
Anything. You can go to any attractions, you can book with our travel agents who were doing overseas tours. Now you can actually purchase them in market. So this would actually just help them to get back the momentum.
Okay, here I want to ask you a question. I was reading the other day where Singapore said we are giving you a cruise from nowhere to nowhere, something of that kind, if I'm not wrong. How's that? How does that work? How does that move around?
I think that the cruise to nowhere basically just allows people to do like a staycation on a cruise line. And it is getting quite popular because people don't usually think about cruising, as a first instance, right? So it's just also opening up more opportunities or more experiences for the locals to try it out.
Yeah, because I see that as a big domestic tourism for you to go on the cruise. That's what. All right, fair enough. Thank you so much. Now I'm moving on. I'm coming down to Sharon. Now, Sharon, let's now move this whole debate into, let's talk about the international markets kind of situation, and let's ask you, do you have any incentive plans, or are you doing introduction of anything to encourage or promote the local travel agents in different destinations to promote your destinations? For example, if you talk in the Middle East, are there any promotional methods which you're doing for the local travel agents to stay relevant? Keep promoting Malaysia, for example, or Southeast Asia, and still be working with you.
Yeah, basically, yes. What we do is that, like we participate in the Gulf Travel Show, and then basically, our partners from either hotels or travel agent, basically, they don't have to pay any fees to us. So because we want them to be in the market and then keep the network with their partners here. So that is one of our initiative, and the other initiative is that, if they come for promotion to either they do advertising or promotion, or they attend a exhibition overseas, on to do tourism destination marketing, basically they can claim 50% of their whatever, whatever they pay, they can claim 50% out of it to the government. So this is the thing that what we are doing now, so that they still stay active doing promotion overseas.
But here, when you're promoting your local travel agent to come overseas and do your promotion and stuff like that, are they all willing to do that, or are there any hesitation because of the pandemic, or what?
Yeah, because okay, to come here, for because the first one they will come is for ATM. This is the first physical exhibition that they will come, the hoteliers and the agents. So they have basically Tourism Malaysia have to get special permission for them to fly out from Malaysia. So it's done. I mean, that is coordinated by our Tourism Malaysia HQ. And then after that, after they spend all that, they can claim back 50% from tourism from the Gamelan Fund.
But there's no hesitation from them to travel.
The only thing that stop them now is like the cash flow.
I understand that. All right, Beverly, I'm going to take the same question with you, which I really need to understand. But I also want you to add on. For example, if I'm sitting in the Middle East, if I'm sitting in Dubai, and I'm a local travel agent and I need to promote Singapore. So are you doing anything for me as a local travel agent in the Middle East market? Are you doing something for me to make sure that I promote only Singapore and nothing else, or Southeast Asia? What are your thoughts on that?
For us, we have not stopped, we have not eased up on our trade partnerships. So I think that is one thing that is consistent to us, even when we can't sell in that sense because the borders are not open. We continue to just work very closely with all our local partners here in terms of marketing or branding the destination right now. So obviously we cannot do any tactical because we can't be selling the destination. The borders are not open, and I'm not sure when it's going to be open. But that said, with us, what we continue to do with all our key partners are really continuing those trade partnerships we've had even pre-COVID. We didn't ease up. We continued that. We helped to make sure that their staff is also, or their employees are all trained and up to date and updated on what's happening back in Singapore, so that when things are ready, they have the confidence, they have the knowledge to be able to market the destination for us.
But any incentives you're offering them, because they also have a whole thing. So any incentives from Singapore tourism to
Specifically, if me giving them funds to straight up, it's a no. But that said, we did launch a Singapore Stories Content Fund. Now, this one is a 2 million fund for digital video content. This would then help people here or even back home. They can apply for this fund. They can be helping us curate stories that are relevant for this market. So this 2 million fund goes into the video content development, conceptualizing, production, and execution, as well as marketing and distribution, which is essentially what we can do right now since the borders are not open yet. But this is one thing they can actually start to tap on.
Fair enough. I really want to continue on the same thing what you're offering them, and I want to now uh, continue with you, Beverly. What about the mice market? What about the luxury market? These are two very important markets. Here I'm not talking about the protocols, but here I'm talking about the large number of people who are involved, or the workforce which is involved working for the mice market. Suddenly they find themselves redundant or no jobs because their numbers are mice is not happening for a long time. So what are your thoughts on that? What are you doing for that?
I think we look at the tourism industry as a whole, not specifically just for mines or for hospitality and stuff like that. And during this period, as a government, we continue to engage our partners and tide them through this period. We try and help these companies work through this difficult time, including helping those who lost their job find new jobs. We also continue to work with the industry leaders through our Tourism Recovery Action Task Force. This one helps to develop the recovery plan and it help the whole industry emerge stronger from COVID, and to also accelerate digital transformation through our various tools. And we've basically classified them under Learn, Test, and Build framework. 20 million marketing partnership program we've also launched, and this provide support for part of the marketing cost and award additional funding boosters to companies that collaborate with other tourism stakeholders to curate experiences that add greater value to visitors. I've already earlier mentioned I'm sorry.
Continue.
I've earlier mentioned the Singapore Story Content Fund, so I'm not going to touch very much on that. But we are also providing funding for tourism businesses to adopt digital solutions, and this is the Business Improvement Fund, BIF. This encourages technology innovation and adoption, redesign of business models and processes in the tourism sector to improve the productivity and competitiveness. The other thing that we have launched is the Experience Step Up Fund. This supports development and enhancements of tourism experience that increase attractiveness of Singapore to visitors, hoping to improve overall visitor experience and satisfaction in Singapore.
Okay, fair enough. Sharon, I'm going to come with you with the same question, kind of situation. What is Malaysia Tourism doing for the MICE industry and the luxury market in terms of promotions, but more importantly, not the protocols, but for the people who are employed over here? I know you're doing a host of things for the industry which you mentioned, but MICE is a total different requirement. If I may use the word, is a total different animal which we carefully nurture. So what are you doing for that?
Okay, MICE used to be under Tourism Malaysia years before, but now we have established a Convention Bureau. So basically, the Convention Bureau have come up with a certain incentive. Basically, we're looking at the still domestic sector. They have now allowed meetings depend on the number of packs, depend on the space of the exhibition hall. So now it's currently allowed. And then now, of course, they are moving to hybrid, meetings. So it's already started, but still it's not a larger scale like before. But there's some hope at the end of the road. So basically, this thing already been promoted, and then the government have already allowed for meetings or weddings or exhibition to take place with the strict rule. But it's more for the local market.
Okay. I want to ask both of you this one question. Beverly, you can go first, and then I'm going to come to Sharon on this. A lot of people, and I'm talking a lot of travel agents who actually believe in this, and that's why I'm asking you to comment. They feel that this whole technology thing where we're doing our meetings like this, and if meetings and board meetings, all that happen like this, that's going to take away business from them. They will not move now. They will not, for example, if tomorrow if I have to go to do a board meeting, I could go to Singapore or Malaysia, and I'll say no, let's do it digitally from everywhere and forget it, save cost, see each other better. We can, and there's a lot of advantages to it. What's your thinking on that?
Well, the meeting space, the exhibition space has definitely changed with COVID. Understandably, businesses or corporations would think twice about having to travel and stuff like that. But at the same time, I also hear from the trade that human interaction face to face does make a difference, and thus uh, us trying out hybrid and not just pure physical, right? I think that will really set a new tone for the way businesses can conduct meetings, can conduct their exhibitions. I think it's actually quite a good shift, if you wish, where we try and incorporate again technology with human interaction. I don't think that's going to go away, but that said, I do see a much larger, um, how should I say, a much larger usage of technology to enhance the entire experience when it comes to meeting people and having conducting various kinds of show and tell that we are used to in the past, and really that will change the way we experience everything. I don't think it's going to go away, it's just going to shift.
Sharon, what's your take on that? How does Malaysia look into this? What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, basically, I agree with Beverly because this thing will not go away. It will be a mixture of things, and then people still need human touch. I mean, for important decision, you have to meet face to face. Or when this is the first time you are going to negotiate for a new business or whatever, you need to see the people face to face. And after that, you can go through the normal, the currently what we are doing. But I think human touch, no, they will still be there. We are human. We are social being.
Well said on that. But Sharon, okay, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I've come to Beverly on the same question. Now, tell me one thing. The COVID is here. The pandemic is spread all over. We are all hoping it should go away. Now, my question is: let's presume that next year is gone. Let's presume, and I really pray for that, is gone. Now, do you think the travel industry and tourism industry will go back to the original way of doing business, or has that now changed for all times to come?
Okay, I just wish, yeah. No rain, rain, go away. Don't come back another day. Okay, basically, yes, basically, because of we are now used to use the technology, so it'll be a hybrid. People have, like adopted, the technology. So when even things are getting better, or the pandemic goes away, because it's already ingrained in our way of life. So it'll still be there. It's a mix. It's going to be a mix of things, but it's for betterment of the service, and it basically give benefit to our customer because of this.
Beverly, the same question, but I'm going to ask, put a little caveat on that. I understand a lot of people will say that we like to use technology to a great extent, but I hope this technology is not going to take away jobs, because that's what's going to happen. So, what's your thoughts on this?
I don't think it's going to take away jobs, as I've mentioned earlier. I think it's we still need people to operate this technology. It's just a matter of upskilling the people or re-educating the new norms. And to answer your earlier question, I don't think we're going to go back to what it was 3 years ago or 2 years ago. It's not going to be, because as it is, new regulations are in place, new protocols are in place in every country in the world. That alone would have shifted the way tourism business need to operate, right? So with that, I don't think it's going to take away manpower. I truly don't think so. But I think it's just about reskilling the current workforce and making them relevant for the current needs and demands of the industry or the world, actually.
Okay, my last question to you would be, now let me put it the other way around. Does the demand of a customer now change as far as tourism is concerned, or you think he's going to be looking at the same things? I'm talking about here in terms of what we talk about is going and seeing attractions, staying in one of the finest hotels, going for food. Will that basic thing change, or would that, or there's going to be something new which is going to come up?
I don't think your basic demand as a person or as a traveler would change. You still want to go for a relaxing time, you still want to have fun. I think these basic needs and these basic demands would still be there. The thing that would change is how would you approach that, and having that added confidence and assurance when you travel. So in the past, we have one less thing to worry about. Now it's like, do I have to worry about, me catching COVID? If something's going to happen, what are, like, say, the health availability for me if I'm traveling, or and so on and so forth. Like, things like insurance play an even larger part now. So they're just little shifts, but I don't think fundamentally what we demand, or as a traveler, even you and I, is going to change very much. It's just that our consideration would just shift a little bit.
Sharon, the same question to you, but I want to ask, put a change on it. Today, because you have this, a lot of people are saying that we just want to go to cities because of this, because of medical facilities. Another sect says, I want to go to a small place where there's nobody there. We don't want to see humans and live there beautifully. Some people say, no, I don't want to do domestic tourism. I just want to do one place. Some say, I want to go to the heritage properties. So what's your take on it? How are things going to change on this?
Uh, Basically, like what we see, because we have done a couple of surveys to gauge the the what the consumer want, because what we see is that like they are looking more onto the secondary cities, and then places like you said, less people. So that's the trend that we see from our last survey that we have done about 3 weeks ago. So this is the trend that from the GCC market. So I think that's what people want to do, but they have to, because basically when they arrive to a country, they still have to go to the main city, because most of the major airports still is near to the main city. So they will start at the main city, then they will just disperse it to the secondary cities or other destination like the islands or the highlands.
Fair enough. You have a big advantage on this actually, and this brings us actually to a close because we're really out of time now. So what I'm going to do is, Sharon, I'm going to let you go first this time. Your closing remarks, and do mention what you would like your message to the travel industry, both in Malaysia as well as the Middle East. What do you think so, and how can you tell them that they're secure and they're going to go for the past glory? That's what I'm.
Yeah. Well, that's a very hard job for me. Basically, like because for me it's like what we do is that now what we are doing is that our hashtag is "We Miss You" in the Middle East. We use hashtag "We Miss You." So basically, we are looking forward for the customer to come back to Malaysia, and then life to go on as usual. But but for me, you have to look everything. Every thing have opportunity. So look at the bright side, and basically life goes on, and this thing will pass. So just be positive. That's all.
All right, thank you, Beverly. As the lady among all of us at the moment, you have the last word. So I leave that totally to you. What would you like to say? And especially do mention how is the past glory going to be? How far is that?
I would say, and I agree with Sharon, and I tell my team the same thing: this too shall pass. We are resilient people. We will get through this together, and we remain confident as a destination in the long-term prospects of Singapore tourism sectors. Whilst we're still trying to help them, tourism does remain an important contributor to us, and we just want to help go walk with everybody basically to overcome whatever current challenges that we have and chart new paths forward for our industry. So with that, I think
No, I understand your point. Well taken, friends. You just heard the tourism boards, you heard the experts talk about what's basically happening. And I can, to sum up, I would like to say two things which I learned from them, and I'm really very happy about that. We were talking about people in the people industry, and only thing I like to tell the people over here is all is not lost. Both the countries or the tourism boards have done a lot for the local travel industry to keep them alive, let them survive, and go ahead and help them promote the destination. Malaysia could afford to do a lot for domestic, but I was surprised even Singapore has done a lot for domestic tourism. So that's something which is going to keep going on. As far as the global inbound is concerned, well, I think all our hands are tied. We don't know till we don't open up. Would bubbles become the new normal, these bubble flights and stuff like that? I do not know. I hope not, though. But what's going to happen is all up there, up in the air. But the good part about them, after hearing both of them, is the travel industry is here to stay. Even if you are down and at the moment with your salaries there and that, hold on there. They are pulling you up, and they are saying, both of them are saying they're going to reach there sooner than later. So I think we've gone through major of the issues. The light in the tunnel is right there. Now it's a matter of a few more months. I hope that it comes through. So that's what basically is going through. So my request to everybody in the travel industry is, you've stayed there, you've done well, so stay on there a little longer. Both the lady and the gentleman have said the industry, the governments are going to do the best they can. So let's, with that, end this today's session, and thank you all very, very much. Both of you guys have been really wonderful. I think this was quite an enlightening thing, but people should know what's happening in the industry. And thanks a lot. And friends, I hope you learned a lot, and be in touch with them and understand whatever you need for them. They are here and your people to help you on the ground. Thank you all so much. Goodbye and Khuda Hafiz. Bye-bye.